Hi, my name is Kasper Johansen and I'm your YouTube philosopher. This video is about process philosophy, and in this video I will try to explain what is process philosophy, kind of a quick survey over the basic issues that concerns process philosophy. This is an introduction to what process philosophy is and what it can do. It stems back from the philosopher Heraclitus in ancient Greece, who famously said that you cannot step twice into the same river. You're not the same every time you step into the river. You changed since the last time you stepped into the river. The water in the river never stays the same. It continuously flow with new kinds of water. So this river, this philosophical processual river of Heraclitus, this metaphor shows you that everything in this universe is to be regarded as something that is in process. It is in flux. It is constantly moving and changing. And that's it. The whole universe and everything in it can be viewed as this metaphor of the river. Everything changes, right? That's what process philosophy means, that everything is in a constant state of flux, and it changes from one thing to another, and nothing ever stays the same. Even a small stone will change its appearances over the course of its history. It would change its form because of the erosion of the weather through millennia or millions of years. It would change its form and not stay the same. It's the same thing with the prehistory, like the dinosaur. They're not around anymore. There's something else. Mammals evolve, and here's man. Everything changes and nothing stays the same. Even a word like sex doesn't mean the same thing now as it did in the 1500s. Or the meaning, a concept like what is the good life isn't the same now as it once were. Everything changes and nothing stays the same. And this video is also in process. I'm in the process of making this video. That means camera angles, my clothes, whatever happened in this video will change. It's during the course of its during the course you see it. The philosopher Alfred North Whitehead, who wrote Process and Reality, which is based on lectures and seminars he gave at the Harvard University in the 1920s. Alfred North Whitehead, he traces this process thought back to ancient Greece and Heraclitus, and traces it through history up to his own time. Alfred North Whitehead also says that nothing is static and nothing never stays the same. He explains it in this way, that the universe and all truths in it is not like a museum that you can go around looking at these mantras, these class mantras, and look in to see, here's truth, this is what it looked like. This is not the way to go about. This is not how the world is according to Alfred North Whitehead. You cannot look at things this way. You have to look at it from a processual perspective. Process philosophy is kind of a glasses you take on and look through the world and see how it is, because you cannot see it doesn't make sense to see it in other ways according to process philosophy. You have to look at the world in processual terms and in a processual descriptive terminology, really. That's how it is for Alfred North Whitehead. And nothing is static, right? Even an electron changes its characteristics. An electron, according to quantum physics, an electron can behave like a static particle, but it can also have a wave function. And an electron can be here, and an electron can be in the next galaxy at the same time. There's a lot of strange things going on in quantum physics. And I read books from quantum physics that likes process thought and process philosophy, because it gives them an explanation why we have all these weird things happening in quantum physics. I'm in the process of taking a bike ride, bicycling. I'm standing here at a river. One should be like the river, because everything flows and everything returns, right? There's all kinds of different processes, but you can boil it down to there's only one process in the whole world, and that's the universe itself. That's one giant mega process. And all other processes are sub-processes or microprocesses to that one mega process that is the universe. Think of it this way: I'm a macro process of a biological microprocesses. All me is a process of about 200 billion cells that make up the macro process that is me. And that's the same thing with the universe, that we're just microprocesses or sub-processes to that giant mega process. It's the universe. And you can divide it like this along the way. That's all kinds of processes out there, like historical processes, physical processes, societal processes, and of course you have psychological processes and so on. But in the end there's only one giant big process of becoming, and that's why some process philosophers becomes a process theology, where they call that mega process God, and that process God, if you would call it that, is under development, him or herself, itself, and it's kind of like we're all part of this one God, this one process. It becomes a pantheism, you can call it. But not every process philosophers say that that there has to be a God. They don't know what it is, because it's kind of unknown. You can have deductive certainty in this process philosophy, because everything changes, and the truth, whatever the truth might be, it's also on the change, and will add some or subtract some from this truth. So that's the same with God. And even a process God would be not all-knowing, because that God is under development himself, so he wouldn't be all-knowing. He would be in process himself. But I'm about to take a step into this river now, and yes, I may only do that once, because I would be a different person if I do it again. The thing about process philosophy taught me a great deal in my personal life to view the grand scheme of things in a processual way. It taught me a deeper understanding how to cope with the constant change that's constantly all around you. Inevitably, things will change and do change, so you have to deal with that fact and understand this is the way life is, and you cannot stop the change. But also in personal development, you have to view things in a processual way. Like I wanted to quit smoking around 5 years back. I wanted to quit smoking. I wanted to be in a loving relationship. And I used process thinking to view to getting this goal done in a processual way. To get my goals of getting to being in a loving relationship and quit smoking, I had to view it processually. And it helped. And I got my goal. I'm in a loving relationship for 5 years now, almost 5 years. And I haven't had a cigarette for almost 5 years. But the complicated thing about this whole process philosophy is knowing when to flow with the stream in this Heraclitus river we're all in. When you just have to let change happen and go with the flow, or know when it's time for you to change yourself, to do something new, to start over, to act in a different way. Because sometimes you can be stuck, and if you want change, it helps changing, instead of just doing what you always do in the same way, just sitting around waiting. Hey, maybe something happened, like dating. The woman I love would just miraculously fall into my lap. I don't have to do anything. I just have to go with the flow and it happens. No, it doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you have to do something in this flowing river. You have to be like the river itself, to change your waters, to, so to speak, to do something anew. Like for instance, for me, I started dating online instead of just sitting around or go out to meet women. Nothing happened really. But I started dating online. That's where things started to change, and I viewed it in a processual way that, okay, maybe it doesn't work on the first date, or the second, or the third, but change will happen. I wouldn't stay on the same dates. Something would happen that would change my dating pattern. So I just keep going on dates and started learning from the dates, saying, okay, this way of dating wasn't good. I tried to do something on the next date, maybe be more open to persons. In the beginning I was like, maybe she's nothing for me, we don't have much to talk about, but trying to be more open to this person in front of me. and it helped. And also keep dating, because I was in a short relationship with a woman I thought maybe was the one. She wasn't. It lasted 4 months, but I quickly started dating again after a few months, and within a short period of time I met the one that I'm currently in a loving relationship with for almost 5 years. And she was turned out to be the one, because I continued this process. I'm not quitting the change, but kind of like I become better at dating. Learning by doing, that's also process philosophy. Learning by doing. You become better. Practice make perfect. That's also the thing about process philosophy. No matter what it is. Alright, we're getting near the end of this video about process philosophy, and I would like to sum up in short what process philosophy is all about. As I said before, earlier on in this video, process philosophy is, according to process philosophers, the best and most optimal way of describing reality, cosmos, the universe and everything in it. You have to use a processual language, a processual description, a processual terminology to describe how to understand the world and everything in it. Because everything changes, right? And nothing stays the same. But it's also about possibilities. Everything is wholly and radical open, and everything may happen. Everything changes, everything is open, and everything may yet happen. Even the nature of time itself, of course, changes. The future is radically open. Anything can happen in this future. Nobody knew before Obama became president in the United States that nobody knew for certain that it was possible for a black American to become president in the United States. Well, it happened. The next election, it's the same thing. It is possible for a guy like Donald Trump to become the next president of the United States, even after 8 years with Obama. But it's also possible that the first woman in American history will become president, Hillary Clinton. We don't know. Anything can happen, and nobody can. There's no certainty. There's no deductive certainty anywhere. But even the nature of the past can change. We look at the past in different ways, and in that sense the past changes some of its properties. For instance, slavery and past slavery was viewed upon in a different way in the 17th century than slavery is viewed upon now, because the past can change. So it's all a matter of perspective, because there's a lot of perspectives, there's a lot of viewpoints out there, and it may turn out that a lot of them is right in some sense. And during a process of recognition, during a process of nullification and acknowledging the different viewpoints, you may get smarter on understanding and come closer to a truth. But that truth is always elusive. It's like putting your hand in a piece of clay. You feel something firm, but it can take on different shapes. And that is the process of truth, that there's no real certainty, but there's always understanding. But it's a process of understanding that continues, and but it is the best way of describing what happens in everything. Take dinosaurs, for instance. How a Tyrannosaurus, big Tyrannosaurus Rex, became a chicken eventually. It's a process philosophy that can also help understanding how that is possible. Birds are now considered as a descendant of dinosaurs. Look here at the skeleton of a Tyrannosaurus Rex, T-Rex. It actually looks just like a chicken's, especially if I remove the head. Take a look. You see, now we have the T-Rex without its head. You can see it more that it looks like a bird. Watch, I take off T-Rex's small and ridiculous arms. Look, now you really can see that T-Rex is just like a big bird. Imagine this is his tail. Right? A chicken. Philosophy continues, and it will continue on my channel, so thank you for watching this video. Bye.